Okay, so I've just come to a part in my path where I know it goes over this field somewhere to the other side, but I can't quite see the other side, and we shouldn't really be straying from the path. So I want to know where I need to go. What I'm going to do here is do a bearing. I'm stood here right now, and I want to cross this field and get to here, just under the E of Matthew's Way, where I should find another gate. Unfortunately, there is a hill in this field where I can't quite see the opposite side of it. So I don't want to be roaming around the field, weaving on and off the path. I want to stay on the path and get to the other side. The best way for me to do that is by doing a bearing. What I'm going to do is line up the edge of my compass with my direction of travel arrow pointing down the way that I want to go. So I'm just going to rotate the map to make it a little bit easier. And I'm going to line that up like so. Like so. And now all I need to do is make sure that my orienting lines in my compass are pointing to the top of the map. Now the top of the map isn't going to be up here, but if the words are the right way up, it's up here. So this is the top of the map. So I want my orienting lines with this red arrow, not the needle, the red arrow, pointing to the top of the map. I've got that nicely lined up there, and I can see that it's in line with my blue grid line that runs down here as well. I've got a nice blue grid line just in my compass here. I've got my bearings set now. I don't need to do anything else with the map or the compass. I'm going to take the compass off, and all I need to do now is turn the compass so the red needle is in the red arrow, and I call that red in bed. So all I need to do now is turn my whole body, and then I'm actually following the direction of travel arrow. So I know that I want to be going this way. If we were to follow the arrow or the needle, it would always only be pointing us north, and we don't want to be going north all the time. So I'm going to follow the direction of travel arrow along my path up here, and that should take me to the other side of this field along the footpath. Now that's all very well and good, but I'm one of those people who tends to drift left and right when they're walking. I can't really walk in a straight line. So what I'm going to do to make sure I stay on track is one of two things. So I'm going to put red in bed at the end of my direction of travel arrow. Straight across this field I can see a fairly big tree at the end, and that's right at the end of my direction of travel arrow, so I know that that is at the end of my bearing, and that should be where the fence is. So what I'm going to do is walk across the field and keep that dead ahead of me, and that should keep me fairly straight. The other thing I could do is put red in bed and walk along that direction of travel arrow and keeping red in bed as much as possible, and that will tell me that I'm not going to drift. If it starts going out of bed or out of the orienting arrow, I know that I'm slightly off course. But if the terrain wasn't quite so nice, and I might have to drift occasionally to go around obstacles, it's really handy to have that feature in the distance as my reference point. So what I'm going to do now is walk across my field to the far tree I can see in the distance, and hopefully that will be where I find my gate. Now I found my gate. So what I did, I kept red in bed, and I kept the big tree in the distance that I could still see as my reference point, and I walked to it, and I walked in a nice straight line across this field. As I came over the brow of this hill, I could see the fence in the distance, and I knew that I'd gone in the right direction. I knew that I was still on track, and my bearings still lined up perfectly with the centre of this gate. Now, bearings are an essential bit of knowledge that you need to be able to master. They're not just good for crossing a field that you can't see the other side of. They are ideal for if it's dark, or if it's really foggy, or if you're going off piste, so you're not following a path at all and you need to get to a certain location. A bearing done properly will get you there. There are 3 things that you need to remember when you're doing a bearing, and it's when you put your compass on your map, you want to line up the edge of your compass with the direction of travel arrow facing down the route that you want to take. If you just have it lined up on any of the other edges of the compass facing the wrong way, your bearing will not be correct. The next bit is making sure that your orienting lines are pointing to the top of the map. So as you would read a piece of paper, if the words are the right way up, you know where the top of that bit of paper is. Exactly the same with the map. So if the words are the right way up, the top of the map is at the top. And that is where your orienting lines should be facing. Once you've done that, you've got your bearing set, and all you need to do is take your compass off the map, don't touch it again, and just turn until the red needle is in the red arrow, or in line with your orienting lines. And that is red in bed. If you can master all 3 of those things, you're perfect. Your bearing should be perfect.